Trisha. Thank you for letting me interview you regarding Erickson's psychosocial stages of development. The purpose of this interview is for you to demonstrate your understanding of the theory and how the theory applies to you and students you currently teach or plan to teach. Imagine I have never heard of Erickson's theory of psychosocial development. Briefly explain salient features of Erickson's theory of psychosocial development. What is the source of this information?
Hi, my name is Latricia Carter. Today is September 9th, 2018. Today I will discuss Erik Erickson's 8 stages of development, and this information is provided to us from our Social and Moral Development PowerPoint presentation in Week 1, ITL 606, Learners and Learning. The first stage of development relates to the infant. This is trust versus mistrust, and this is the infant needing a maximum amount of comfort, having a significant amount of uncertainty, learning who mother and father may be and what may or may not be safe. The second is the second development is the toddler. So this is autonomy versus shame and doubt. The toddler is working to master the physical environment and just maintaining self-esteem. So discovering our bodies, who we are, discovering right or wrong or what should have not or maybe should have been done through confidence and insecurities, and learning like what makes the toddler feel good or what makes the toddler feel bad kind of controls if the toddler feels confident or insecure about the situation. The third development is the preschooler, and this is taking initiative versus guilt. So this is basically beginning to initiate activities, developing conscious and sexual identity as well, meaning boys and girls learning about each other, learning the differences, trying new things, learning new skills and activities, questioning, following new interests, and just basically learning from their surroundings. Um, the fourth is the school age adult. So this is coming from the preschooler learning to take their guilt and turn it into a new skill, basically refining it and trying to do the right thing, or trying to develop self-recognition for doing the right thing and actually be a good student or perform in the best way that they possibly know how. So basically some way kind of refining or transitioning from oops, I did it this way and I shouldn't have done it that way to I know better, so let me try it this way and see how it works out. The fifth is the adolescent, which relates to identity versus role confusion. So this is integrating many roles as a student, as a parent, or excuse me, as a student, as a brother, sister, athlete, whatever role that you're taking on significantly. This is taking that role, refining it, trying to be the best brother, sister, student, athlete, and then taking that to self-reflect on your self-identity and finding exactly who you are. The sixth role is related to the young adult. So this is intimacy versus isolation, and this relates more so to learning to make personal commitments, and not necessarily just personal commitments to others. It's important about building relationships with others and commitments with others, but this is also based on more so leaning towards building a commitment or trying to learn how to build better commitments with yourself. So also learning how to love on yourself and find out who you are and what you're interested in, which will help you have better positive relationships and outcomes. The second is related to the middle-aged adult. So this is generativity versus stagnation. And this is basically seeking satisfaction, gratitude about where you are, where you're going, your family, your career, the people around you. Making sure that you're on the right track and making sure that you're in the right companies, that they're accommodating you to make sure that you're going in the right direction. And if you're not going in that right direction, making sure that you're around people who can possibly help you, stay motivated to go in that right direction. Taking what you know and making your life better and making better choices so that you're comfortable and have a better understanding. The last is the older adult. So this is integrity versus despair. So this is basically a review of your life accomplishments and looking back over necessarily what it is that you've done, and are you happy about it? Are you happy about the decisions that you made? And do you have integrity about it, or do you feel a little bit bitter about the decisions that you made? And it's the final step of the 8-step process, but it's also a reflection process to reflect over every single step of your life, which can be kind of consuming.
At what stage of development do you see yourself now? Why do you think so?
For me, I feel like I'm in the young adult, so that's intimacy, like I said, versus isolation. I find myself isolating myself more so often from a lot of things or a lot of people that I used to, share company with, and just leaning more towards love, better relationships, and trying to make a better commitment towards my relationships or the people that I do engage in relationships with, the people that I do care about, making sure that those relationships are healthy and they're strong.
Explain how being at this stage of development this influence your behavior and outlook in your classroom. On what do you base this explanation?
I feel as though if I'm happy, if I'm strong, I feel the people around me are supportive and my environment is, strong and supportive, then that energy feeds off for me, to give back to my students, and they're affected by that as well because I'm able to give them that love and that support that I'm receiving. It's very important that I have a good attitude and that they see somebody that wants to give them the time to answer all of their questions and learn with them at the same time as they're learning.
Identify at what level your students are likely to be at in Erickson stages.
So I teach first grade through third grade. I'm an aide in special education also. I've taught all grades, but for my children now, they're in the first to third grade. So they're in the toddler and the preschooler stage. Then this is toddlers autonomy versus shame and doubt, when preschoolers initiative versus guilt. I think majority of my school students are, finding their self-esteem, their confidence, learning who they are, taking initiative, trying to be leaders. I see a lot of them taking on the role of trying to do new things or learning new activities and just, learning from their wrongs. They take on that guilt role sometimes and they try to reflect or, try to do it better next time. But they're in the role of just finding themselves, and I think that's one of the best things because I'm doing the same. So we're able to have a better connection and understanding.
Explain how being at this stage of development this may influence their behavior and outlook in your classroom. On what do you base this explanation?
Like I said, if I have, understanding and patience for whatever it is that's going on in the classroom and trying to give them the best, experience in their education, I feel like that's what's going to have a major significant influence on them. Being around somebody that has the patience, being around somebody that has the time, being around somebody that wants them to learn as much as I want to learn, or just giving them that same love and that same environment and the same support that I'm receiving will be better for them in the long run, so they're able to see, this is what I need to do, or this is how I need to do it so that I can grow.
What might be some disconnects between you and your students, keeping the differences in the two stages in mind?
The only disconnect I feel that may be possible is the fact that, like I said, I am a young adult, and I think all young adults and teachers, not even young adults, but all teachers can agree that life can become pretty overwhelming, and for young adults, it's a lot, for us to grasp onto paying new bills, providing for ourselves, having a personal life outside of our career, or building our career, if that, and going to school. Everything could get pretty stressful and overwhelming. So I think it's really important that we look at that and make sure that that is not a disconnect. That we don't go to class and we get disconnected. We let our outside world interfere with our students in the classroom.
Any final comments?
Yes, I think that the 8 stages from Erik Erikson is an absolutely, a very good outline for students and for teachers to go from, relating to, where students may be or where, they're going as far as the social and moral development stages. However, as educators, I feel that it's very important, and I think that we all know that all students grow on their, and they learn on their own timing. Like I said, I work in special education, so it's very, very, very important to actually build a better relationship with students and see exactly where they are individually. And there's all kind of outside factors that actually impacts the social and, the social development. So it's very important that we look at all factors and then come back and, consider where they may be if we're looking at Erik Erikson's 8 stages of development. Like I said, this information was from our Section 1, Week 1, Erik Erikson's 8 Stages of Development, Social and Moral PowerPoint presentation. And there's also some information from YouTube of 8 Stages of Erik Erikson's Social Development as well. Thank you.